Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today I have, I think, probably one of the coolest Peglin videos that we have recorded or we will record, because we aren't just playing Peglin by myself. We're not even live. We're recording this so special. We're recording it after the fact because if we go here in the credits, right, and we see this this little Peglin dude named Dylan, we actually have Dylan, one of the original lead developers, here on a call with us. So how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We obviously got to meet, you know, a couple months ago at one of the gaming conventions just for a little bit. I know you've been working real hard, traveling all over the place, you know, advertising this and Foul Damage, which, speaking of which, we have some Foul Damage episodes probably out by the time you watch this video, so go check that out for sure. Their newest game, really cool puzzle platformer. Yeah, I know the biggest thing is it's probably just nice to have, what, Peglin officially in 1.0. I know you know, we have some more stuff to come that I'm sure we'll talk about later, but having that out, having Foul Damage out is probably somewhat almost like a relief, I imagine, right?
Almost. Yeah, you know, I feel like we had to call Peglin 1.0 at some point, and we had a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, but I think it's always really tough to, like, let your babies go like that.
Yeah.
And we know that we still have, like, so much more work to do to get the game to, like, where we really want it to be. So it was like, it was fun and we celebrated it, but it was almost like a little stressful. You know, we no longer had that, like, excuse of like, oh, we're an early access game, you got to forgive all our pixel sins and everything. So yeah, it was a blessing and a curse for sure.
Yeah, and so I got some questions from you know, my YouTube community and my Discord community and stuff that I'm sure we'll dive into a little bit more about that and some of the other questions. But for what we're doing this episode, for those of you guys watching, obviously last couple episodes we have been trying to get through these Crucible 17 through 20s that have been added in 1.0, and we did very good on Roundrel and on Baladin, and we both default Peglin and Spinventor surprised me. We've been struggling. Last episode, we struggled even more with Spinventor, and so this time we're going to default Peglin. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to be playing, but I'm actually screen sharing to Dylan, and we're going to get his advice on maybe some relics to pick, what orbs he likes, see if we can learn any strats, or see what, you know, kind of stuff Dylan likes, because I know there's certain things that I just don't touch, and I know there's people in the comments like, why don't you try this, you know? So we're going to do that, see if Dylan can help us maybe beat Peglin Crucible 17 here. Yeah, I guess first things first. Which of these three here, Dylan, you think would be a good start?
Probably a good slime.
Good slime. Peglin's
hack can also be pretty useful, but I find the slime builds are probably one of the most powerful right now.
Yeah, I absolutely love a good slime. I think it's I'm trying to remember. I know I always talk about the goggles, the refresh perspective. I love that one as well. That's more of like a upgrade thing. But I love it, but it almost is one that, like, is super good late game. And I feel like I take a good slime a lot, and then I end up dying early game, but maybe that's just the high crucibles in general, you know. But whenever I get a good slime later on,
yeah, there is definitely some luck involved there. You know, if you don't get a slime orb early on, it can hurt. Whereas something like Heglin's hat is going to be saving you money on healing upgrades. I think people sleep on that one a little bit. On which one? Sorry, the Heglin's hat.
Oh, so okay.
Heal 10 for every 100 coins you collect. And it can be pretty good.
I did a bad, yeah. I did a bad. Okay, I don't know. Maybe we try to fight these elites here at the right and get some chests and stuff like that. Let me. Nope. Oh, nope. Oh. This is a spicy one here, actually. Okay. We got a lot of gold at that point. I'm not even that upset. Okay. There's a lot of
for the best too. I'm not exactly sure where the, like, tipping point is, but at a certain point on the Crucible, like, you got to really start being careful about those early elites.
Oh yeah.
Just, you know, punish you so much that it makes it hard to bounce back.
Yeah, I feel I'm gonna just throw this here down the middle. I feel You like Omega Orb? I don't think I've used this in months, actually. It might have been over a year. What is your thoughts on Omega Orb?
one of those ones that it's getting a little crusty. Honestly, like it should probably have a little bit more downgrading, because then you get the slime synergy.
I see what you're saying.
I'd say it could be worth it.
Yeah,
It'll fight with good slime a little bit, but if you do get a good slime orb,
it'll counteract it.
Yeah. That's one thing that I've been meaning to do, is add a tooltip into the game to kind of explain the slime scaling effects a little bit more.
Oh,
but downgrades are like more effective than upgrades for actually increasing the effects of the slime.
Oh, see, I did not know that. We're learning. Yeah, I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah, so if you have a peg that's like +10 and it's got slime on it, that's usually like 2 like effect increases on it. So like lightning will now do like 2 chain attacks.
Yeah.
But with downgrades, it only has to be like -3 each time.
Oh.
And so if you've got -10, you're looking at like 3 triggers at least.
Okay.
And it changes a little bit depending on the slime, which is why we've kind of struggled a little bit for how to succinctly explain it.
Yeah. That is interesting. Yeah, because I knew that there was some scaling. I did not know about the negative stuff, but maybe I just probably because I refrained from doing a lot of those types of synergies. I don't know if you saw. Actually, this is a perfect opportunity. I know we talked about it a little bit before. Here, let me go look at this question here. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. So yeah, my name is Dems. Maybe pronouncing that wrong. Said, Yo TTG, you should ask Dylan if he ever listened to a YouTuber's critique, like them complaining about something or like asking for a change in one of their YouTube videos. So I know you kind of talked about that a little bit already, but for the people that didn't hear, yeah, do you ever take feedback, and what does that look like, from YouTube videos and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of the reasons that the game ever kind of took off in the first place is that when we first started putting the demo in the Steam Next Fests, like way back in early 2021, I would watch like every single piece of like Peglin commentary, critique, like anything. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to keep up with that just because there's been probably more created than you can actually like physically watch in a day, kind of.
Yeah, especially with all the other indie content creators and stuff like that starting to cover it more.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to watch like every single thing, but certainly like I just watched like a Scooty video yesterday where he kind of covers like beating up to Crucible 20. Just things like that are just like good succinct like summaries of where they're having trouble and what's more difficult than other things. And then in game dev, we kind of have a saying where like, if you're hearing like feedback, players are really good at describing like symptoms, but not good at
the solution part of it.
Like the solutions, exactly. It's like often, that's especially in a game like a roguelike where there's, a little bit of salt involved from just losing a run, and people kind of jump on maybe the first thing that underperformed or whatever without kind of looking at the whole picture.
Yeah.
Which is where YouTube videos are just excellent, right? It's like, it's not like a one paragraph of feedback in Discord where somebody's trying to tell us how to fix the game.
Because you can see the whole run and the context and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so if there's 2 relics that like you really think are supposed to be working together nicely, and then they're actually, you can watch it underperform in real time.
And just
that is super useful.
Yeah.
And I will say like, we still have so much balancing to do. We were hoping to do like a full boss relic pass before 1.0. We didn't quite get there because I know it's like such a bummer when you roll boss relics and none of them are useful. It's
I'm interested to actually talk about the boss relic stuff here in a second. Real fast though, any of this stuff excite you? Nosferatu, because that's only in the Peglin.
Probably take a Nosferatu. Yeah, it's one of those relics that like, or one of those orbs. Anytime you can like get a full heal out of something,
it could be valuable.
Goes a really long way for sustain.
Ooh, okay. Okay. There's a lot of. I'll let you pick this one here as well. There's a lot of different potential ways. We obviously don't have a negative effect yet, but we could. Or crits or duplication potion. Those types of builds are always fun. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's got to be the crits or the duplication potion. I'd say counterfeit crits just because it's newer and shinier.
Yeah. Man, I remember all sorts of the duplication potion builds. I feel like I got them a lot back in the day, and then, you know, obviously just as more relics and stuff, because I think it's harder to get like a full-on duplication potion build, right? Because I'd say, you know, getting things like that plus you know, tactical treat and reorbanizer and stuff like that, and then also what is it, that one potion that says that they can deal crits and refreshes can deal damage. Because once you get all of that, it's amazing, you know. I mean, I guess like defresh potion itself is really good, you know, the extra refreshes and stuff. But what are you thinking here? I feel like I'm almost leaning towards suffer. I don't know. Eye of the Turtle could be good, but I feel like we're almost dead because of my my elite fight that I forced. So
yeah, this is a tough one. Like normally it would be Eye of Turtle every day.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, we're struggling to get that slime synergy rolling. We have a good slime ready to go when we do. But yeah, Suffer the Sling might just be the play to kind of help dig us out.
Feels wild to take, but I've been appreciating that a lot more recently. Also, I loved that you guys in the shops. The reason I'm even tempted to go to a shop here is I know sometimes there's discounted orbs, but I don't think so.
That was traditionally when we've been adding Crucible levels. You know, we've been trying to ease the game up. So like the previous Crucible 16 was kind of where we felt 20 should be difficulty wise.
Okay, yeah.
And so in the past, as we've added new ones, we've kind of made parts of the game a bit easier to compensate. So this was really the only major change we made like that with this last batch of Crucible levels.
Because I think now one of the Crucibles, it makes it more expensive, right? I don't think we're on that one yet.
Yeah, so that kind of brings the orbs just back to where they were. But then the other stuff does increase in price.
Yeah.
So the relics, when you buy them, will increase in price by a little bit.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't even think... Is that the next one? Is that 18 or is that 19? I don't remember. I don't know. Because I think 17... 17's the one where mini bosses have more damage now. So that... Because we haven't beaten that on all the characters. So we were kind of still on that one here right now.
Yeah, so yeah, it must be 18 then. So that would be the next one. Yeah, so you've still got the cheaper shops.
Yeah, which is... Because also I think it's really good for the base game change up until, you know, for the majority of players. Because like I feel like a lot of the times it's like, okay, do I have 50 gold to pretend? Like, I don't know, you could have 25 gold and maybe get a good orb, but like normally it was like, okay, you could get orbs anywhere else for the exact same price. I mean, you have better selection. That's one question I don't think anyone asked specifically, but let me think real fast. I'm trying to think if it's worth getting Nostrabatu. We are fighting Mole, so AoE's not terrible. What do you think? What are you feeling like now? I feel like we could upgrade Omega Orb for a little bit more damage. We could do Nostrabatu to because that won't give us more healing, but it'll just hit everybody instead of hitting one person. I don't know. What do you think would be the most helpful for us right now?
Yeah, I'd say to upgrade Nostrabatu or to grab the Best Foot Forward.
Best Foot Forward. Yeah, since we are kind of potentially trying to do an upgrade stuff.
Decent, and then if we roll slime, which I can't believe we're not seeing it. Maybe a chop would be helpful as well.
Yeah.
But it, it's also a targeted attack.
Yeah, true.
And until you get on C20, you can still target the mole directly.
Oh. Wait, until you get to 20, you can... Oh, okay. Because 20's bosses have... Oh, that's an interesting little sneak peek, because I think that's the one bosses have unique new powers or something, right? So that must be part of it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other place where we kind of rebalance the game a little bit. When we were adding the unique powers to bosses, we were really trying to kind of bring them all to the same power level. So that's where Leshy saw a pretty decent nerf by getting rid of the Stumpy. I think we nerfed the Painter boss a little bit, but it still needs a little bit more work. It's still a bit punishing.
Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought.
We've still got some work to do.
Yeah. what was I about to, I remember the thing we were talking about last was the shops. Yeah, have you guys ever considered, or almost maybe like relic for it or something? I know that's something our community's been thinking or talking about a lot, is almost like a potential like reroll feature in the shop. Like I don't know if it would be something that would like cost money or something like that, or it would cost more and more and more, but almost with the increase of orbs and relics and everything like that, almost give you a little bit more, because I think that's probably in communities, like in roguelike communities, that I sometimes see people, the biggest complaint I think I see of Peglin is a lot of people complaining about the RNG, which to me, someone that's, I have 400 hours in this game, I'm like, oh, but you can minimize it, and you can, but I think a lot of people, it's almost hard for them at first to understand that. And I mean, there's probably more RNG in this than some other roguelikes and stuff, to be fair, especially with some of the navigation and stuff like that. So yeah, has anything like that or any other kind of features or mechanics almost been something y'all have considered in the past?
Yeah, so it's something that we've actually got spreadsheets for like how big is each character's orb pool, how long before in a run before you see every single orb that's been offered, and so that is something that we definitely look at. We have discussed a refresh, and it might still happen if we add like a few more orbs to each character, but yes, there's that RNG, but you also don't want every run to feel exactly the same.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are getting offered enough starting relics, and you tend to go to the same kind of synergies, and then you're getting enough orbs offered that you can always roll that same synergy without having to like adjust or adapt. That's really not what we're looking for, because it just, you just get burnt out on the game so quickly. So yeah, it's definitely something we've, definitely something we've looked at, and are still discussing, but yeah, we don't have a solid answer for that one just yet.
Yeah, and I think we are probably gonna die. Nosferatu, I know it's good. I do remember. Oh, okay, that was just bad on my part. Yeah. I don't know, that's something I struggle with, Nosferatu in particular. But going back to what you were talking about, I almost imagine that is one of those things where you were saying players are really good at figuring out what some of the problems are, but not the solutions, right? Because as an example, some players might feel like there's a problem of too much RNG or whatever, but the solution of like a reroll feature or making certain things way too accessible is they've made the game, like you said, play out the same every single time, and now they kill the fun for themselves that way. And now they complain that there's not enough variance, and stuff like that. So I imagine that, yeah, that's part of it. You know what? Here, let's get Haglin's hat. I know you were talking about how you think that's a little bit underrated. I think I'm gonna do. I think that would be good. I think that would be good. Because
No, you're not wrong there. And I agree with people that like there is a ton of RNG in the game. That was something that early on, the whole design of the game was just like, haha, what if Peglin Slay the Spire? And then as I started building it out, like I personally had like a moment where my blood kind of ran cold, and I was like, oh no, like if we have this physics-based gameplay, like the game is never going to be as tightly balanced as Slay the Spire, which is a game that I absolutely adore.
Yeah, same.
And I'll give a quick shout out, which I'm very happy about, but we're actually in a bundle on Steam with them.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
If you do own Peglin, you can get Slay the Spire for an additional discount, or vice versa if you own Slay the Spire and not Peglin yet.
And I saw you doing that with Foul Damage as well, right? Shout out to that game as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The bundling has been a lot of fun, just getting to kind of collaborate with these indie devs that we either have met in person or just like adore their work. Is pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was this moment of reckoning where it was like, oh my goodness, we're never going to be as tightly balanced as that, and so you kind of just learn to like lean into it a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And in Slay the Spire, like I guess aside from going infinite, you're not usually getting these attacks for like 10,000 damage. Whereas in Peglin, that is absolutely something that you can.
Oh man, I remember. Yeah, I remember the old Crits Malosa Fleece, the old one, where it I'm trying to remember. I think it just kept exponentially. It would like exponentially increase your damage every time or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 1.2 times to the power of the number of crits you've hit.
Yeah.
It gets so insane. We took so much flack when we nerfed that.
And I
guess kind of removed it.
But,
that was literally, we were getting reports every single day of people being like, I overflowed the integer limit and my shot didn't fire. What the heck?
And then, and then it's because it's mad when it's so broken that it physically breaks the game, right? Versus breaking the balance. That was something I wanted to talk about as well. I don't have a specific question anyone asked about it. But I do know I have heard a lot of stories about, just people. And I think that's very common for developers and to be fair of like nerfing things and then the community getting really mad. I mean, I literally this morning was reading Helldivers 2. I don't know if you played any of that or when everybody was all hyped up about that game. But they just kept okay, I don't know why I went for that crit. They kept nerfing all of the stuff. I'm now trying to, I'm so confused at where my refresh is actually. Is a bomb taking over a refresh?
That doesn't look good. We do have some bug fixes coming out. Lime Hive kind of hides its refresh currently, but I don't know where it would have.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen bombs doing it like this. I mean, at least I think we'll have enough damage. I don't think it should matter, but I don't actually think I've seen this one.
We did recently, we were trying to do some optimizations for 1.0. There's like some big meaty changes, and then unfortunately there was just a few things that we didn't catch. So I know there are some fixes like ready to go out, or just about ready to go out, even on the experimental branch, which, are you playing on default or are you on experimental?
I think I'm on default, yeah.
Okay, because the experimental branch has some like fixes and changes.
Okay.
That, are kind of in the testing phase right now.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because I don't even think the bomb or the refresh came back. But we got it. I don't even think we took that much damage there. Okay, what do you think? Anything that excites you here? Obviously, we have a little bit of healing, a little bit of bombs, which I love bomb baton early on, especially in these higher crucibles. Really makes the difference on certain interactions of, normally all the bombs would specifically only do this amount of damage, and then, there's these projectile shooters still alive. So that one's really fun.
Yeah, I do love bomb baton. Yeah, none of these are really jumping out to me.
Yeah.
I think that's the Nimball there.
Yeah, I think
damage at level 3 is surprisingly high, and I think I was considering nerfing it a little bit. I was playing with it, and I was like, this is a little shocking.
How OP it is? Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
So it might be worth taking.
Yeah.
But we did skip the lucky button at the beginning, so that might bite us. We'll see.
Wait, wait, lucky button. Which one's that one again?
The bonus crit peg.
Oh, true. Because now we'll never be able to find that. Which I do like that, I think, because I think that inherently there are some times where it's so sad, like we want to do crit, we know we'll never find that crit orb, but I think in general it helps you thin out the pool of relics. Because if you're not taking something, most likely you don't want it, unless it offers you two things you want, which at that point that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it was just necessary where there were some times where we try to make common and rare relics not have downsides, but sometimes you don't want 3 extra refreshes on the board if you're playing a bag of orange pegs build or something. So it was so annoying when you would skip one and then you just see it come
the
right
very
back,
next one,
So it was kind of a necessary change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely makes sense.
But at least it's something you can plan around, right? Where if it gets removed. So yeah.
Okay, so this won't be able to help me. Yeah, I'm interested that you talk about Nimball, because it was always something that I kind of skipped because very hard to actually utilize, at least on the higher crucibles, until it's level 3. Right. I'm trying to. Okay. See, I feel like if I. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That might even be like enough of a trade-off on its own, right? So that, I certainly haven't committed to reducing that damage at level 3 yet. I had a few runs where like I had like 2 or 3 nimballs and they were just buffing themselves with the spin S.
Yeah.
I was dealing like 26 crit damage on the final shots of the boss. Crazy scaling with like no ramp up. You know? I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but we have another orb that just gives you finesse on its own, and even that can just like ramp up pretty decently.
Yeah. Also, rippity dip.
I
think if I had hit that one crit earlier, it might have changed. And so that's one thing too. It's like I need to think if I should be less aggressive on elites on these higher. I mean, I do a little bit, but a lot of the times I follow the hypothesis, or of like, okay, let me just like keep bashing my head against a wall, and then eventually it'll work, and that's how you get the power to go far, But okay, out of these starting choices, what are you thinking? I don't think Gardener's Gloves.
No, it's a pretty rough one.
Yeah.
I probably lean towards the short fuse, but Orbert's story is actually better than people think it is. And we were just discussing this on the team the other day, because for whatever reason, I guess I just liked the like 7s on this thing and fitting in like the round roll kind of increased like luck loadout. Like those are actually like percentage points, not like a percentage increase. And so it more than doubles the chance of a question mark node being a chest.
More than doubles?
Because the base is something like 5%, and so you're adding 7% chance to that. So it's, much better than it kind of reads.
That's
interesting. We're gonna tweak that a little bit. And then it's probably also got a buff incoming just because, like, I don't know. There's a Slay the Spire relic that does something similar, and I try not to copy effects directly from them. But theirs is like a countdown. It's like every 4th room that you chest, and that's just so much more satisfying because you can like see that countdown occurring.
Yeah, even though it's not.
Trigger, you can plan around it.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna have to copy that functionality.
Yeah, because I think part of it is people, myself included, probably don't take it as much because there is no immediate, there's no immediate gain of power. And yeah, to be fair, what you just told me there of it actually doubling, right, having a 5% only, so it's more than doubling. It's almost like, I mean, I think a buff could definitely be cool for it just to make it more appeasing. But I also wonder if, like you said, before switching to, or another alternative instead of switching it to like the amounts per, because I think that's obviously a very elegant solution. It works very well in Slay the Spire. But I am curious if it just said question mark nodes have like, I don't know, I don't know how to make it sound nice, but if it like say like double
20% increased chance, like it's
because
how really
what it really means, because if
you're looking at the actual percent, like the amount that it's being increased by, it's over 100% because it's more than double.
True, because if that said because I feel
like right now it's just a little too soft, right? It's like you don't really know, and there's nothing in the code that we could even like tell when it was triggered. I guess we just kind of like all of the odds for what a question mark node will be are just kind of like stacked in a list. And so there's like visually in the game, there's nothing that tells you like, hey, you got this question mark as a chest because of Orbers. And so it just kind of, it feels just kind of soft and
that's interesting. Because if it said,
to avoid the right?
That's so interesting. Question, what is your opinion on the Necromancer stuff? Because this is another kind of thing I haven't really messed around with too much in a very long time, because sometimes it's I think it's a lot of IQ that sometimes is hard for me. What is your stance on Necromancer?
I feel like Necromancer is like my poor neglected like stepchild. I just don't know. I love it so much, but it's such a thin line between just making it absolutely crazy and ridiculous and making it just be like a fun, interesting way to like invert, refresh synergies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with a lot of people that like a lot of the time that Necromancer is just it's just fallen straight down. Like, there's just
Yeah.
not enough empty pegs on the board, especially with normal play style.
Yeah.
But I want to love it so much, and when you do manage to get it to crit somehow, it's such a fun feeling. Like
it's so good. And so that actually is a perfect opportunity here for one of these other questions here. Let me find. Yeah, so this one here, and I'm trying to like make myself easier here, right? Timestamps, professional streamer. Yeah, so Isael 42, or probably pronouncing that wrong. Q&A question. I'm curious as to whether or not there'll be any more classes or perhaps game modes added to the game. So that's an interesting thing, because I've always thought about some like that whole mechanic. You say like your neglected thing. Say more classes were in the mix, or hypotheticals for like a Peglin 2 or what, whatever that capacity. I'm curious what you think the capacity would look like, but also I do think whenever someone asks me what do you think another really cool class would be, my mind always goes to all of those morbid, the necromancer, having like a necromancer Peglin class is always something that is interesting. So yeah, I'm curious your thoughts on that. And also
yeah, the biggest thing that we would love to do, and like we just don't know technically if we have the capability for this just because of how the game was built, but like opening up modding would be the biggest thing for us.
Yeah.
You look at things that have been created for Slay the Spire and it's just so incredible, and so that's something that like I would absolutely love to get in the game and just let people do that. We do have a few ideas for like maybe like secret classes that would be like a little wonky and out there. I don't know if you've played Dicey Dungeons before.
I have.
Each of the classes is like so fundamentally different.
Yeah, I remember the robot
design. That was something that we were kind of looking at, and we decided to kind of not go that route, just out of like the complexity. And again, at that point we really weren't sure how big the game would be, and it would probably have increased our development time by quite a bit. But there's still a few of those ideas kind of kicking around, and so in an ideal world, if I could wave a magic wand, we would implement modding in such a way that like those classes that we originally envisioned could be built by us and then distributed it on the Steam Workshop for PC users, and then probably included in console versions. But that would be like the dream.
Yeah.
But then when we were building the game, like it started at a game jam. We started the original version in 2 days, and then just kind of we're building off of that as just like a fun hobby project. There was never any intention for the game to become a big thing. Like if you had told me back then that anyone would have ever been interested in modding the game, I would have thought that you were absolutely crazy. So we didn't, there's kind of special ways that you can build the game to make that easier to support.
Yeah.
That was just not a consideration that we had. So
yeah, I know that's specifically one of the reasons why the Slay the we're talking about Slay the Spire devs, why they're working on Slay the Spire 2, right? Because they said they didn't expect that game to blow up. I mean, to the extent that it did, and so just exactly like you're saying, not built for. I mean, they did have mod support, but in terms of them adding official content to the code, it's just wasn't necessarily in the cards. So that's one of the biggest things they're like hoping to do with Slay the Spire 2, is now knowing that it will be something big, be able to build it in a way that's easily expandable and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that is one of the biggest reasons that we would probably make Peglin 2. And I will say that, that's not what we're going to start working on right after this. We've been working on Peglin for almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Stretch our design muscles and, probably work in a different genre for a little bit. Probably still roguelike, just because I love the community around it and the game design freedom that it kind of gives you.
Yeah.
If there's incredibly broken combos, it's like at most somebody's going to blast through an hour of gameplay. And it's usually not enough time for it to feel stale and kind of show you the behind the curtains kind of thing.
Yeah, and there'll also be more different types of builds you'll want to do and all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Peglin 2 is something that we do want to do eventually.
Yeah, and it is, you talking about the mod support and all of that stuff. Yeah, I think you kind of answered it, but let me see. Okay, I don't think that came from YouTube. So yeah, I think you probably answered one of the. That must have been just on something on Discord. Someone was asking. One of the people, asking, if mod support was coming or if, when or whatever. So yeah, I know. And then someone was also asking, let me go real fast. This is the most professional thing. This is a good question because I know you talked about how, 1.0, there's still so much more that you guys are immediately trying to do and stuff like that. 1.0 was just, you didn't, you wanted it was a good, like kind of 1.0 complete. There's a lot of people that were waiting for 1.0 and stuff like that. But there is still more stuff like the final act 4 and stuff. So Tom the Casual 5337 was asking, will there be a final act 4? Which obviously I think the answer is yes. But this is a good part of it. Do you guys know if it's going to be like a full length area or if it's more like what a lot of other roguelikes do where it's like going to be a shorter one but way harder, or like a single boss like Act 4 and Slay the Spire, or what that might look like?
Yeah, it'll probably be closest to Slay the Spires. We kind of have some ideas for like, unique nodes that we could have in there. But we do have some people complain about the length of a run of Peglin, but personally, like, feels pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think so. I think there are times when I have the most broken build ever that's when I want a little bit more, whether it's, another Act 4 or back when we were doing modded, there was like a looping thing, but that didn't ever scale up the damage to actually warrant it actually being a legitimate, thing.
Oh no.
But yeah,
a loop or an endless mode gets requested a lot, and like if somebody was to mod that in again, and unfortunately breaking the mods as we developed the game in early access was one of the most heartbreaking things that happened, but was unfortunately necessary. But yeah, if somebody was to develop that again, I would be very happy, because like as a game designer, I find it really hard to like put my stamp of approval on something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's so easy to just like play a game, if you play like a run for like 10 hours and you've just blasted through everything, and then you eventually die at some point, probably due to some like BS of just like enemies scaling in such a ridiculous way.
Yeah,
and I feel like you never want to play that game again.
Yeah,
right? It's almost like booting up The Sims with cheat codes, and then you kind of put it away for like 10 years.
Yeah, because you've like already done what a normal roguelike gameplay loop also.
Oh no.
Dude, there were some bad throws in there. Okay, that's fine. I always say it's like third or fourth or fifth time's the charm here. So I believe. Okay, not the best either. What would you pick here? I know we've been trying to do crit stuff because default Peglin starts with Dagor, but I think I know what I would lean towards. I'm curious what you would lean towards.
Yeah, I'd probably like either Amulet or Navigation-flation, just to kind of try and get that faster start.
Yeah.
Especially if you roll one of the spider maps early. This can pay for itself pretty quickly. Yeah,
the Navigation-flation, that's what I was leaning towards too. As long as I remember.
I do love Amulet, especially if you can get a rub orb just like going crazy.
Yeah, I was a little bit sad that would be out of the pool here, but it's not anything like build defining. Besides, like you said, you get really cool things like rub orb, or even maybe the Jacob Lantern, or stuff like that. Also, at any point in time, feel free, because I am curious, right? One of the things that we're not able to really translate, it's very interesting to know your the strats that you like and stuff like that. But I am curious if there's ever a time where I do a really questionable move or shot, I give you permission to be like the equivalent of my backseat comments or whatever. Like, why the fuck did you throw it there or whatever? Because it does feel like, a lot of people like play this game very differently and in multiple ways, right? Oh, I should have waited. Fuck. On the one more slime. See, that's what I would have backseat myself on there. This board's honestly one of, I think, the hardest for me. I don't know why, but I've had people in my comments tell me that this is one of the easiest early game boards for them. I don't know why I struggle with this one.
You're normally just, you know, just playing those slides, especially if you get a lucky refresh like that. That's really good. And then, yeah, I think twice you have thrown it the wrong way to get the crit. That's kind of the only
crit fish in a little bit too hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. So, you know, obviously the crits moving around and the refresh moving around prevents every puzzle from being solved the same way, which is very nice.
Yeah.
But as a developer, you do kind of get your selected kind of niches on certain maps. But that's another good thing that's, you know, good about watching people play is kind of what are spots on maps that kind of have, you know, blind spots that you might not necessarily see. Especially early on. This is even actually a pretty early designed pegboard. But a lot of the early ones, you know, were pretty sparse relatively. And they had a lot of like vertical gaps. And so if your orb took a bad bounce, you know, it just plummeted straight down. And that's something that in later pegboards we've gotten a lot better at avoiding.
Yeah, and I know you. Oh, okay, I kind of want to go to the right, but we did get a little bit of the money there. Yeah, that's. I know you guys have reworked a lot of the. Ooh, this is the one you were talking about here. So yeah, obviously I want to kill as fast as I can in order to leave as many of the golds here, which Horrible pretty good at at that with those bombs. But yeah, I know
you just make sure you have a path open on either the left or the right to kind of drop an orb into the See, I probably would have just immediately been going for more of the bombs. That is you are correct. Let's see. Oh, but okay. Maybe I should have just done. Oh shit. Well, because how does it's based off of what you've hit once before, right? Or like, yeah, so you can kind of see. We tried to like keep it subtle so that it wasn't too confusing to newer players, but then like more experienced players could spot it. But you can kind of see the color difference between pegs that have been respawned and pegs that haven't.
Yeah. Okay.
And so yeah, those are the ones that disappear after.
Trying to think here. I'm thinking I could either shoot at this and hope that it goes somewhere over here, or I just shoot directly in there.
You gotta go for the extra gold.
Yeah. Oh, I meant like, yeah. Like shoot just directly in the webbing here. Yeah, okay, let's do it. It's gonna happen. Fuck. Okay, that's fine. I'm actually okay with that. Because we keep that gold. Okay. Do it again. Okay, I don't know how much damage I can really afford to take, but this is a lot of money here. Oh, fuck me.
That actually isn't something that I've ever done the math on. Is like, does navigation inflation make it worth it to kind of talk a few? I don't think it would. So let's see, you're getting 4 gold. Yeah, if you were able to get like 2 or 3 coins per shot and then drop it into the fire, it would actually pay for itself pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna wait on the bombs here. But yeah, going back to I know a lot of the boards have been improved to make them like more fun, right? Not even necessarily like a balancing thing, but just making the board more fun to play. Some of the examples I can think of is the slime mini boss here in Forest. I don't even remember what it used to be. I think Minotaur got changed at one point in time. I remember Minotaur had a pretty horrendous board, if I remember correctly, before. And now it is the kind of very
first
fun.
Iteration was brutal.
Yeah. And so it gave the vibe of like, oh, this is supposed to just be a really hard board, but now it is a really hard elite while also being a really fun thing. You know, if it's so satisfying, the highs of getting a dag orb to actually successfully, you know, loop and hit a crit and do 400 damage, and you know, it's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's a tough balancing act for us because, you know, we don't want any board to have like a gimme solution, and the Minotaur board is definitely like the closest that we have to that. And it kind of counterbalances by being this, you know, like you said, very tough elite.
Yeah.
And you know, it's how do you, like, it's so satisfying to get that big slide on there But that's kind of like the only two choices you have early on in that board are like left or right.
Yeah.
And what we want Peglin to be all about is like, you know, player choice, like making these interesting choices, and having those choices actually matter. Which, you know, we get a lot of complaints about the RNG, which absolutely, to be fair, we try to, you know, when you have those choices granted by the RNG, like we want them to really matter.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with the Minotaur board. Like, I don't think it'll see any changes.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things that, like, it's a tough design decision to make.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear from your perspective because, like, to me, right, as a player, my perspective is I hated the original iteration of that board. I imagine like a lot of other people, and now I really, really like the original. I didn't even think that, like, you know, you guys having a big design pillar of, you know, like you said, you want your decisions to matter and stuff like that. And so that map almost forces you to go left or right and almost minimize the amount of decisions you're allowed to make. Like, I wouldn't have even, you know, thought that, like, you know, that was something that you guys were thinking about. Cause like to me, you know, I just was looking at it like, oh, it was bad, and no, it's good, you know? And so it's super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was bad. Like, it was a very, like, it was unsatisfying 90% of the time. And the horn arcs that it had, you had to, like, chip a peg away to even open up the loop in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had to bounce it off another peg to get it to go into the loop. And that was before we made the physics improvements to kind of, you know, latch to loops a little better. So in some ways, like, I like that it required that kind of skill shot of bouncing it into the long peg loop a little better. But, you know, 90% of the time, the loop was broken, or you didn't open it properly the first time because you had to aim for the crit, and, like,
yeah.
So yeah, it needed the change for sure. I don't regret it. But you know, the original map, I think, had there was one thing that it did okay, and that was, or interestingly at least.
And it was that unique, almost like the skill of kind of the knowledge of knowing, how to do that. Okay,
you're a little low health, but I think you gotta take the reduced refuse on this one.
Because of the combo between
Because of the combo.
Yeah, that navigation inflation. Yeah. I feel lied to by one of my viewers. I feel like I want to say that one of my viewers told me Grubby Gloves got buffed at some point in time, but I don't believe that happened. I saw some of the other things got buffed. I know that I think when we met in the convention, I remember, talking about that and stuff like that. How like that's an interesting example too, where it's like, you know, I kind of wanted the elite, but I don't know why I want the elite, to be honest. You know, okay, let's see. This is
a risky play. But...
Okay, let's see. Okay, is it gonna be the Minotaur? I think Minotaur's killed me. Ooh, okay. With the Poltergeist, that actually kind of makes me a little happy. But yeah, like Grubby Gloves as an example is something where, you know, I know it's really hard to balance because that's a common one too, right? Is that a common?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, if you take that as your starting relic, especially if, like, you're offered any poison synergy after that, it's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
And so that it was nerfed while we introduced a bunch of synergy to poison.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know, like, you know, if you are kind of forced to take it on its own and you don't have any Spinfection synergy, it's kind of a bummer that it's not, like, building up on itself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was you know, and we kind of considered changing how Spinfection worked so that we could kind of get it somewhere in the middle, because that is always tough, you know, when your options are like 2 or 1. Where do you land on that side of the fence?
Yeah.
And yeah, ultimately we just didn't want that relic to, like, stand on its own and be a sole source of poison. It's not really its intended purpose.
Yeah, which I do know that also rip that I think, like, the one relic that was, or one of the relics that was added in 1.0 was the one that actually scales it better depending on how what area you're in, which is super cool. I imagine that was maybe one of the potential ways that you guys were looking to improve it before you decided to, like, turn it into just a relic of its own. Or
yeah, I think the big one, I believe, you know, I might be revising history here, but I believe we made that change when we introduced the I think it's the catalyst is the one that increases its damage, but the relic that like makes Spinfection tick up instead of down.
Oh yeah.
And so now you had like a 2 relic combo that like would stack on itself and continue to build. And that's fine. If you have 2 relics that are working together, like that's kind of the goal, right? Is obtaining those synergies. And so I think that was where we made that change. And then we also, it was around the time that like Spinfection orbs were kind of changed to, grant like 7 at a time if you hit a crit.
Oh, crit, yeah, which I think that was a really elegant way to kind of make that work more with the round roll, because obviously round roll used to start with the dag orb. Now they start with the elusive orb, which I really like, one of my more favorite starting orbs. A question I have, and something that I think we were I was very excited that I was going to get to sit down with you and play Crucible 17 default Peglin, because as we've been, in 1.0, and this video already has, 4 or 5 losses, a lot of which are my fault, being more aggressive, right? I really should. That last one was a throw. I feel like I should have I had the combo pieces to get some money, should not have fought in an elite there. But regardless of that, I think one of the things that which you might have heard me talk about on some old episodes, is that it seems like my hypothesis, just based on my literal experience of Crucible 17 being absolutely crushed by the Balladin and by Roundrill, and I think Balladin's just really good, consistent now ever since the change, and he's obviously maybe one of the guys that are more easy to build certain combos, which I think is good, right? Have something like that, and I just love Roundrill, all of those status effects, the dodging of damage, from some of the stuff, worked out. Spinventor's been surprising me that I've been struggling with, to be honest, because normally I would consider Spinventor to be one of the better ones. But it seems like default Peglin itself is really, really good. Maybe in the lower crucibles, and almost like becoming the worst class potentially on the higher crucibles, because something like Peglin Tuition, is not an immediate, like we were talking about Orbert's story, not having almost like an immediate effect, right? Peglin Tuition is going to take longer to get, to actually have a benefit from, you might have to be in castle before you actually benefit from it. And then I guess also it's probably just harder because of the item pool and orb pool, to get a good build working, right? As an example, that first build that we had, we had the slime relic, and then, it's hard to find slime, or say we, have this refresh perspective, but now it's like, okay, are we going to find, this certain refresh things? And I know you guys have made, a ton of, I constantly, like every update, see you guys adjusting the item and relic pool for each of the classes, which I think is super important, and it's definitely gotten better and better. But so I am interested in your thoughts on which of the classes you think is the best, or if you almost like, if you have similar thoughts on, and not that all the classes need to be balanced, right? Because they all have their own crucibles, and I'm sure if people look at the Slay the Spire classes, there's differences in which ones people think are better, and so you don't have to actually balance them with each other. But oh, I got a level 3 Bramble there. Okay, cool. So. Yeah, what are your, what are your thoughts on some of that stuff? Like, specifically the Peglin default class and at the higher crucibles, and balance between the classes.
Yeah. I feel like the Peglin default class is something that, like, we just kind of could maybe have removed at some point. But it was such a neat little, like, almost like a reference, I guess, or like an homage to the origins of the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, there weren't classes. There was just 18 orbs. In the first version, there was only 1 orb.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to kind of try and keep that, and try to have something that would allow just like strange combos.
Yeah.
Like what happens if you're stacking up Illusion and Bulwark and just have like the most crazy defensive character you could ever possibly have.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of works a little better in theory than in practice. Because you're right, it can be really tough to kind of get those combo pieces when you're looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it is tricky, and we kind of counterbalance that a little bit by having Peglin be the only one able to access some of the like crazier orbs, like the Docked Orb and the Mastery Orbska. We kind of found early on that like, there's really no decent way to balance these without ruining what they fundamentally are.
Yeah.
And so we'll only make them available on the character that has the biggest pool. So they're, even rarer than a rare orb would be on another class.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you probably have like a larger orb pool that you're kind of shuffling through to even get those in the first place. So hypothetically, it's kind of balanced out a little bit more that way.
Yeah.
But it does kind of turn Peglin into a bit more of this like slot machine character, unfortunately.
And I will say, I think I agree. Like, if you guys had decided to take out default Peglin, I think I would have been pretty sad, because like you guys, I mean, default Peglin is part of the game for people that have been playing early access. I mean, I played this game for a year and a half, probably made hundreds of videos when there was only default Peglin, and so I definitely agree. It's also really cool, like you said, being able to mix and match and stuff like that. As an example, I feel like I get what's it called? I feel like I get summoning circle so often on default Peglin, and I love that, right? Because that's like probably one of the best orbs Spinventor possibly has, right? Like an infinite value effective. I mean, I don't know how to quantify things, but it's just insanely good, right? So it is really cool being able to do that. I almost wonder, I mean, I know, talking about the reroll stuff from earlier, I almost wonder if, you guys get to a position where you've added a couple more relics and orbs down the line, and the issues with Peglin almost are exacerbated, how you pronounce that, even more. I almost wonder if adding a couple, like you have 3 total rerolls that could be used on anything for your entire run, or just, I don't know. So, that's a, potential thing, because I could see not wanting to make some of the other classes be a bit more consistent, but I could definitely see the problem getting even worse, when there's more content specifically on the Peglin class. Also, I don't know, any of these things excite you? I used to really enjoy Oh My Gorb. I think I still kind of do, honestly. But
it's pretty good, especially on higher crucibles where you just need that, like, damage up front, please.
Yeah.
But I'd probably go for Ball Lightning just to synergize with refresh perspective.
Yeah. I think
you're going to be hitting refreshes more easily. You're going to be zapping more upgraded pegs.
Yeah. I think it's I'm not even gamble at gold. I think it's harder for me. I'm so spoiled from Spinventor having Spinvent originality, which is, I guess, how you make a really good, ability or relic or passive. Whenever you're like missing it, not playing that character, but it's almost sometimes hard for me to pick a thing like Ball Lightning on a class that won't get great damage from it. Because you're right, theoretically, Ball Lightning will help us get refreshes more, bombs if we're doing that refresh perspective in general and stuff like that, but knowing it won't be like the most damaging thing ever, like you can make it on Spinventor, it's like I'm spoiled from Spinventor almost.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we actually debated changing Spinventor's starting relic for 1.0 quite a few times.
Oh, really?
The effect is kind of like, it's so interesting when you've got it, that I feel like having it dropped on other characters partway through a run would be, a good like rare relic. And then I also, like, it makes me feel like I play every Spinventor run almost the same. Like, I'm either going for an upgrade build or a slime build, which kind of synergize with each other anyway. And then it's like, I just want one of each orb, essentially, of the entire pool. And so it's, we didn't, like, it's not as bad as Baladin used to be, of like forcing you into a particular loadout, but it was kind of in the same direction. But yeah, I agree that it's very easy to miss that just like inherent double damage on the kind of low gimmicky orbs.
Yeah.
When you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. I'm curious. What out of curiosity, what were some other potential ideas for another Spinventor passive? Oh, okay, I'm around guard.
We never landed on anything that was like a really solid contender. The goggles, the refresh perspective was actually something that we considered, just kind of providing like a little bit of ambient upgrading, because that again kind of plays into several different synergies on the Spinventor.
Yeah.
We were trying to think of just other kind of interesting effects that you could have that would kind of change the way that you thought about the game a little bit, but not like force you, too strongly, which it's a tough balance to strike.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I honestly, I mean, I guess you are right I think this is the time to go freaking really aggressive here, which still scares me, but I have 2 Restorbs here, so I feel like this is maybe the time.
Getting that max HP up.
Yeah.
In the forest is good.
Maybe if I end up taking a crap ton of damage, I might not go for the second one here, because I would like to make it into castle a single time this episode with you here. I definitely old Baladin. I felt, the kind of that was weird. The kind of issue of the runs feeling very similar, because you're doing bulwark and you're doing bulwark and whatever the non-crit damage thing is, I can't remember. But yeah, I think like even though Spinventors does kind of cause you to like maybe sometimes do a similar build, the similar build is doing a build that's a lot of different unique things, and I think that almost makes it okay that sometimes you like, it doesn't feel to me like I'm doing the same thing every time, because the same thing I'm quote unquote doing every time is just trying to get a bunch of really cool, fun, unique things, Yeah.
And I think it's got a cute kind of synergy with the summoning circle, which is easily Spinventor's best orb. Having it, you can have multiple summoning circles. And it doesn't matter because it doesn't deal damage, so that doesn't affect the Spinventor buffs.
And with potion bolt too.
And the Assemble is kind of a cute well, fine, if I can't have duplicate orbs, I'll smash them together.
I've had and I know this is just RNG and stuff like that. Also, I do not think I'm going to be fighting this other elite. I think I'm going to show restraint for the first time in my life here, probably.
I think you could do it.
Do you think I should do it? Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
I think you should do it.
Okay. Ooh, I think this is probably duplication station, right? Or Puppet, maybe.
Probably, yeah. But Puppet does go pretty far here, but the duplication.
Yeah, I have round guard, so plus that helps with refresh perspective.
Is always fun.
Oh yeah. Okay, what are we fighting here? Okay. So it's fun to talk about because this is the newest elite here. Let's see here. I had so many comments on some of my last videos, an unbelievable amount of comments, being like, why don't you? Why are you only attacking the hive and stuff like that? And I'm like, well, because like the faster I kill the slime or the hive, the less total slimes it will spawn. But then people did bring up a good point that the longer the slimes themselves are alive, they get buffed more and more and more. Also, this is a weird. I think there's no way I'm hitting the crit, so I'm gonna give up that dream. If I hit this crit, I'm gonna freak out. Okay, I'm glad. I'm validated. So yeah, I am still kind of in the trying to figure out what is the best thing to do here. I think I'm trying right now to wait on some of the bombs for sure. Yeah,
I mean, this fight it's
a fun one though.
It's pretty open. There's a couple of ways that you can manage it. Just because like the slime hive damages itself when it spawns slimes. So if you just focus on its ads, then like you're gonna get through the fight just fine.
Wait, say that again. When you kill the slimes, it deals damage to the hive. Is that what you said? Wait.
When the slime hive spawns slime.
Oh yeah. It hurts itself. Yeah.
It hurts itself. Yeah. So you can just focus on the ads on this fight. You don't no AoE required. But if you've got AoE and it helps you chip them down, then that works. If you've got just like really big single target damage, you can just like take the hive out faster.
Yeah.
And then it's got bombs on the board to kind of help you bridge the gap in between anyway. So
yeah. And I do really like.
I'm pretty happy with this fight.
Yeah. And I really like that status is go to the things it spawns. Though I feel like a lot of the times I'm playing this fight. And okay, dude, this has just been a real. There we go. A lot of times when I'm fighting this fight, I'm not doing a status build, but it's really cool that it spawns all these, it shares the statuses. Like if you were to put poison on them, or as we saw, there was a little bit of Bramball there earlier and stuff like that. Also, so maybe this is that same bug that you would, this is so funny. I don't think I've seen this bug, if it is a bug.
Yeah. So this one, I believe, is fixed and experimental, but basically in that bottom ring, the crit peg is hiding somewhere in there.
The bottom ring, is it always going to be in the bottom ring?
Yes. So what happens is that just some of those pegs are duplicated. And so sometimes like it's hiding underneath, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it has been fixed, but
yeah,
it's happened, a decent number of times throughout the game's history, and it's a pretty easy little fix once we identify it.
Yeah.
But at some point, we should probably put a little code safety in there to try and
Man, I can't imagine. Yeah, it just seems like it's a constant game of whack-a-mole,
It is sometimes, yeah, especially with like the issues where it's actually disappearing somewhere. Because like regular pegs work a lot different than like the brick pegs do.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
Sometimes we'll make a fix somewhere and it'll just like break how they work on the other side. And yeah, I mean, eventually we will iron all of these out.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I have to. I'm obligated. Man, dude, heavy shaft potion would be pretty fire as well. I feel like I gotta take the grinding monstera here though. Especially still early on here. Which once again, thank you so much. I mean, I know it's been in here for a while, but I still, especially when you guys added that item to the game for me. I want to say, I feel like I started talking to y'all about it before anyone else. I think technically timeline wise, I can't remember correctly. I don't remember if you were actually, you know what? I can literally just go look at my playlist here actually. Let me see here. I'm curious because there's a small chance it might have been Brotato technically first here, but I think I talked to y'all guys. Okay, yeah. So I think it was technically Brotato first, but it was pretty much around the same time. That was so validating to me as a someone that's been trying to be a content creator for so long, over 10 years now on this channel, so to have I don't know, it's really cool to be like part of the game history and stuff like that. So obviously just want to say thank you again to, I don't know, it just brings me so much joy seeing it every time, Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun for us too. We have players hop into the Discord quite frequently, and they'll usually say how they discovered the game, and it's been nice having a way to kind of recognize the streamers that have helped make Peglin what it is. It's never would have gotten off the ground anywhere. We're not very good at marketing. We really are a game design and development company. So yeah, it's been nice having a way to give back and kind of recognize that in the game itself.
Yeah, and it's cool seeing all the other people's kind of relics and stuff like that as well. Really cool to see all the puns and stuff. I was very happy when I found out. Not happy, but very relieved when I saw that. I think Frost Primes, the Frost Prime Rod of Frost got a slight nerf. And then I saw Grinding Monstera, and I think I couldn't remember. I just didn't remember it originally saying. I think there was 15 seconds where I read that whenever you defeat a non-minion enemy, and I forgot that was just to clarify like the ballista fight, right? Or anyone that a boss that spawns quote unquote minions. But I had a mini heart attack because I was like, okay, it would be fair if it got nerfed, right? Because I do know it's probably hard to balance that one. I'm actually curious on your opinion on that, on the balance specifically on that, because it seems like it's one of the ones that's a little bit harder than most other things to Relic, because not only is a lot of the stuff in this game not static, right? Because you're navigating it's not static like Slay the Spire, but on top of that, Grinding Monstera completely changes how powerful it is depending on, you know, where you are in the run. So has it ever been a time where you guys thought it might need to be nerfed, or
Yeah, we've definitely thought about dropping it to, like, you know, every second enemy. Yeah, it's a bit of another tough one. And then, you know, if there was some way to kind of even it out, because it sucks when you're offered it as like the last relic, right before the final boss. But yeah, it's something we've discussed a little bit, but overall it's kind of just an acceptable amount of RNG. You know, it's never something that you're going to get as like a starting relic. You do have to like take down an elite generally to get access to it. So.
Yeah. And I think that kind of helps balance a little bit of it too, right? Like, yeah, there's going to be some times that it sucks so bad when you get it at the end, but that almost makes up for the times where it is a little bit broken. But I do know that there are times where it almost like carries someone's build if they get it early enough. But like you said, it is a good point that you really you have to like get a like a fight to take down an elite or something like that to make it work. So now this is interesting here. Our first time making it in the castle here. I'm almost wondering about the leaf, but also I know that actually might not be the synergy that I fully think it is, right? Because it might not be upgrading the whole board.
Yeah, I mean, the leaf is, I think, a little, you know, because we've recently buffed it. I think we maybe swung a little too far. The minimum that it kind of grants goes a pretty long way. And then it's also kind of a peg to hard counter. So I'd probably
go for that.
Go leaf.
Yeah. So
it will synergize with the refresh perspective a little better than you think, just because you'll be refreshing them so much more frequently.
True.
Same pegs can get buffed up quite a bit more.
Yeah. Leaf has always been one of, honestly, my favorite boss relics. So much so to the point where I think when it originally came out, it was very rough. I think, and I'm curious to talk more about some boss relics here in a second. But it was a relic that I had so much fun trying to do. I threw many a run by taking it. You know, so like that, you know, was part of people always be like, oh, he's just throwing for content. And I'm like, well, not always, but like somewhat, you know, like if the leaf like is super fun for me, then I'm going to try to make it work, especially if I don't have too much, like it's like, you know, but then there's some things where, you know, if it, some of the boss relics where, I feel like the downside of them is either sounds so bad to me that I never want to have to bother with it, or okay, I'm gonna try to slow this down here a second. Or I, you know, just claim I don't have the IQ for it or whatever, you know, just don't want to. And one example of that is not the ring that you have less damage, but then you upgrade it. Because I have lost some runs to that, but I've won a lot of runs too. But specifically the one that downgrades things, but you get way more damage. I think I actually threw a run recently because I took that thinking it was the other one, which is my fault. It's not. They're very different relics. And then I died to dragon or whatever like that. But that specific relic is a relic I don't think I had probably taken in months or years, because the downside of that to me just feels horrible, you know, and it almost feels really bad to have to deal with that, you know, as a almost reward for beating a boss. So yeah, what were the I know you said you guys were looking into maybe boss reworks, or sorry, boss relic reworks before 1.0. I just didn't make the, you know, board. So are there certain ideas or philosophies that you guys are almost thinking about with in related to that, you know, or kind of what does that look like to y'all?
Yeah, the boss relics have obviously, you know, been a bit of a tricky one throughout the game's development. We don't want the downsides to be like super punishing, but the idea is that like the downsides in certain builds either are a benefit, you know, like those pegs being downgraded if you've got slime being generated is just massive. It's absolutely crazy.
Which I still, that's crazy to me. Like that is total new information for me. So that is maybe if I knew that more, and I have a terrible memory, so I feel like someone might have told me that in the past or something and I forgot, you know. But
Yeah,
Goes
I've
back
had
to
an
the
item
tool.
on my to-do list to like put a tooltip in the game specifically around it, and then I spin my wheels being like, should it describe each slime individually? How much information do we want to grant? And then I just end up pushing it away for an easier, already solved task.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do want to make that more clear in game. But yeah, so for boss relics, the idea is that, you know, the downside is actually secretly an upside, or at least changes the game in an interesting enough way that, you know, it feels different enough, and the upside way outweighs the downside. Like, we don't want you to look at all 3 or 4 boss relics and be like, wow, this is really garbage, which, you know, we do know happens quite a bit in the current game. So yeah, that is certainly something that we're kind of looking at changing.
Yeah, and I definitely understand, because it is really cool. It makes you feel as a player like you're almost outsmarting the game, which is definitely what you want in a roguelike, I think, when you make certain things work. So as an example, when you find unpretentious pendant, when you really aren't wanting a crit, you know, and it's like, okay, normally not having another crit would be bad, but in this, like you said, in this situation, it's amazing. Or the thing where you get more damage. I think it like doubles your, I'm trying to remember specifically what it does. The one that does it just give you more damage in exchange for taking away a discard or something like that. And then I think that's a boss relic. And then if you know, have the extra discard from that other relic, you're like, oh shit, okay, I could take that almost with like no downsides, you know, and it almost feels like you're not falling over like for the game's tricks. You know, it feels very satisfying, and I like that the boss relics make you have to think harder. And honestly, I mean, even to an extent, like I know Molten Mantle, that was a big one. I think that's probably been some of the most, in my perspective, some of the most rebalanced over and over and over, maybe, you know, relics. Because I remember when that game first came out, it was so broken. You would take that and you would instantly win the game.
I'm pretty sure it was every single gold that it hit was just
deal the damage, yeah. So, you know, so now it's, and I'm gonna save money for the shop here. I think that's a good idea. But it's almost similar to My Leaf, right? Where it's like, now it's like, okay, well, there is a little bit of decision making to be had now, where it's like, okay, well, am I going into Act 3 or am I going into the other acts? But then it's, you know, almost like that issue of, okay, well, now if it is Act 1 through Act 2 and I see it, it's almost like it's a non-choice. It's a, you know, non-starter of, do I want that? Because I do think, like you said, there probably are a lot of times where, especially when you're not playing default Peglin and you're playing as someone that only gets 3 choices instead of 4, you know, it can be, a lot of times it is like, okay, there's 3 relics, 2 of them I absolutely don't want. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I get gift, you know, or whatever, which, you know, never going to complain about having gift most of the time, you know, besides certain boards that kind of counter it later on, which I think is, you know, fine. That's a lot of roguelike. Slay the Spire. I mean, talk about Slay the Spire. I feel like Slay the Spire. People always complain about this game countering certain builds, some of the bosses countering certain builds so hard, but like, I don't know. I feel like Slay the Spire does that so much harder. Like the Time Eater, you know, every time I'm doing a cool Shiv build, I fight the Time Eater. Every time I'm doing a power build, I'm fighting the, you know. And so I think this game has it a little bit. I think the only one that I currently hate with every ounce of my being is the the mirror mini boss in this area, because it feels like he's built to counter literally like everything. Well, no, I guess he counters everything. It feels like, unless you have single target damage, because if you have single target damage, that's how he cycles his attacks. But I think, yeah, it's that one, and then it's Upside Down Man. But Upside Down Man, every now and I think that he ended a run last episode or the episode before, I don't remember. But those are my two. I don't think there's a problem with Upside Down. I think Upside Down Man's board maybe a little bit, but I think it maybe is designed to be like that, right? Because you have the gravity pulling everything down. Also, so we have a lot of money here. I obviously could remove something, but I feel like with 100, I feel like I should maybe go for some others. I definitely think Unicorn Horn, right? Like Unicorn Horn, I feel like goes kind of hard. And I did see that y'all buffed Grabby Hand.
I know, I've been trying to make Grabby Hands work for so long. Like, I love the sprite, I love the name, but it's been so useless. And so this is kind of our little, like, finally, like, half-ditch effort. Because whenever I go to make a new encounter, at some point in the design, I'm always like, okay, should this have a flying enemy to make grabby hands more useful? But like, we also want more single enemy encounters.
Yeah.
In which case, grabby hand just doesn't matter at all anyway. So like, we finally just gave up. We're like, okay, we'll buff grabby hand. It'll help you out in like the mines, the QR boss, and the sapper if you're aiming for the minions.
Oh,
like
wait, because the QR code bosses, they're all flying, right? Or is it just the top?
They become flying when they go to the top row.
Even if there's a row below them? Or is it only when they've dead? The ones below it are dead?
It's like when they're in the top row, regardless of whether.
Wow, okay. I don't think which probably doesn't normally matter, right? Before this buff.
Yeah, there was nothing else that really affected flyers specifically.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we barely have any flying enemies in the game. So it really has been.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna get this.
But I love it. I don't want to just remove my child.
I get that.
I know a few people would miss it. Just judging off of the response. I don't know if you remember like the orb way back in the day. There was a scenario in the castle and the mines that would just put a junk orb in your deck. There was no choice. There was no agency. And so we've been trying to find a good time to like bring it back with actual choice, with other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Haven't quite figured it out just yet.
Because that was the one that split apart, right? Was that the one that split apart?
No, it was just a stone. It couldn't be upgraded. It was just like a level 1 stone, and it was just a funny shape.
Oh,
so
that's right.
Maniacally.
I want to say that one of the mods that I played years ago brought it back, and it would splinter and break, and almost in a multi-ball thing. I want to say it was that, and so that gave it a very awesome purpose of it being this little geode that bounced weird, but then also, you know, had that that kind of really cool thing. Yeah, I think more events, all the events for the most part are absolutely like really cool. And I think that's you were talking about I don't know, when you were talking about we were talking about the passive, the class passives and stuff like that. You know, I think it'd be interesting if, you know, there was an event that allowed you to discover one of the Peglin classes you weren't. And then they would train you in their passive or something, and then you would maybe get there. Because I, for the most part, I feel like a lot of those wouldn't be super OP. Honestly, I think getting default Peglins would be, well, that would at that point just be a, wait, what is the difference between, now that I'm thinking about it, this and, what is that other relic? The one that does his.
Oh, Eye of Turtle.
Eye of Turtle. Are they the exact same?
Not quite as useful. Eye of Turtle doesn't affect chests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the only problem would be like, you know, if you were playing as Round Roll and then you got Baladin's Relic, like it really wouldn't do anything for you.
If you got Baladin's,
maybe have that event be like on just default Peglin would be kind of a fun one.
Yeah, because you are already kind of wanting. Yeah, like you're looking for other things in other classes, you know, and like I think things having options is amazing. Like I remember the event that would give you the hammer, right? That you would deal 2 damage, you know, and then you guys added the option for the, or maybe not the, you know, the thing that would upgrade when you bought something, but it would hurt you. Then you guys added then you added the hammer, I think, or whatever, where it was every time you discard something, but it hurt you. So then and I'm assuming a lot of other people just never took that option. Then you guys removed the health loss on it, and now I genuinely actually choose between those 2 options. I don't think I ever normally pay to, maybe once or twice, to you know, upgrade in the short term, but not get a relic. I think because a lot of the times it still ends up hurting you anyways. So it kind of feels like, well, if I'm going to hurt myself, I might as well, you know, take the thing that helps futures. But yeah, having options there is super cool, you know. So say there was that hypothetical class, you know, for the default Peglet or whatever, you know, maybe it gives you an option for one of those relics, or to get an orb, or like, you know, or like, you know, like find an orb from their class or find a relic from their class, you know, or something. Because that I feel like really helps runs feel very dynamic as well, and feels like there's a lot more you know, just difference in the runs and stuff, you know. Because that's something that I honestly was really surprised at, you know, several, like a year and a half ago, whenever there was like a quote unquote content drought, you know, and there hadn't been an update for a little bit, you know, and I would start, you know, doing fun things. It was very easy once you guys added the custom class stuff so I think it might finally be time to upgrade Dagorb, but I don't want to. I don't know. What do you think that? Or do you think taking maybe a multi-ball thing? I don't know. Before this elite. I sometimes struggle with the default Dagorb in default Peglin's class because like a lot of the times I don't end up actually doing a crit build for him, so I end up just having a level 1 Dagorb in my deck the whole time.
Yeah, I think the main reason we still have the Dagorb in there is just like it's, you know, pretty dang good at lower crucibles.
Yeah.
Until that crit gets removed. And
that's
it's
probably
a pretty
what it
decent
is.
way to like teach new players about crits
and how important it is.
Discarding.
Yeah.
But then yeah, when you start getting to higher crucibles and you only have the 1 crit on the board, its reliability tanks pretty good.
Yeah.
But by then you kind of know how to deck build and mitigate that a little bit.
Yeah.
We have definitely talked about changing it, but I probably won't.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair point. Especially because you said default Peglin is supposed to, because it is the, you know, default experience. Default experience. Oh, that was hot. Oh, that was so good. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's something I have to kind of like think about a lot too. Is a lot of what I say or you know stuff is heavily influenced by the fact that I have. I mean, let me see the exact hours. 345.2 hours in this game. Also, I just fucking murdered that so fast. And so, yeah, it makes sense. Like, right, like some of the things I'm saying, like, oh, I hate this fucking you know, but I bet a lot of newer players, they're like, oh, this is sick, you know, because they're one shot in these, you know, elites with it and stuff like that. So that makes sense. Ooh. Okay, man, so Bombulate seems fun because I have Bomb Baton, but I gotta say, like, would you pick Pumpkin Pie here? I feel like...
I do love Pumpkin Pie, especially when you got, like, the duplicator
on there.
Yeah. Bombulate also, I don't know.
I feel like the Bombulate would help me more round out my build, but I feel like I don't need to round out my build because I have 144 max HP. So I think I'm gonna go Pumpkin Pie. I think that's like one of the most fun, one of the most hype relics in the entire game, honestly. I think I've always just loved pumpkin pie. It's a cool question. Do you like pumpkin pie IRL? Because I very much enjoy pumpkin pie IRL.
I wouldn't say I'd like really go out of my way for it, but like once a year around Thanksgiving, it's like you can enough pumpkin pie.
So I'm gonna clip all of this out of context, and that's gonna be the takeaway of this whole video: is the Peglin devs are frauds. They put you gotta eat pumpkin pie every day.
Did you ever play much of the original Peggle?
You know what? I am now. Funny enough, I played Peg. I actually think I might have played Peggle like for 5 minutes, you know, several years ago, but I definitely I'm playing it now on my Steam Deck every now and then. I'm almost through the campaign of the first one. Oh, are you bringing it up because of the pumpkin power up? Yeah. It's actually
pie is a reference to that guy, just like the unicorn horn is a reference to Bjorn.
Yeah, it's actually crazy that I've playing Peglin to the extent that I have, and now going back to the original. What started the inspiration for all of this, and then I'm like, oh shit, you know, like when I saw the pumpkin guy, I was like, I get it now, you know, and yeah, that's really cool. Man, I gotta say, I feel like with your luck and your advice, I feel like we have a chance here to finally beat Crucible 17 on the default Peglin. That would be amazing if it was able to happen here with you. Which I don't know how we would lose this, to be honest. Like, I feel like I would have to throw pretty hard at this point in time to lose this here. No, I don't. I have health. I was like debating on whether I think that would be worth it, but
yeah, I think at this point, like your deck is so tall that so wide. It's kind of funny because the deck loader kind of visually makes them tall, but your deck is so wide. That,
True.
Yellow circle thrown in there probably won't help too much. Like I think you want the rest orbs in there a bit more instead.
Yeah. That's how I'm like, I want the rub orb because I like rub orb, but I'm almost like, actually, because I'm like, I don't want to devalue the rest orbs, but
rub orb with the painter boss here is still very useful.
Oh yeah, especially with pumpkin pie too, because pumpkin pie can really bring out the best of the rub orb, too. Yeah, I've loved, man, all these new bosses and these new encounters and stuff like that you guys have been putting in the last couple months. I feel like, when you guys were like, there was the content that was kind of first in the game and stuff like that. I don't want to use the word static, but some of it felt like, I don't know, just like small things like the animation or just super unique game mechanics, right? Like as an example, right, the Hive now has this kind of mechanic of, I mean, there's a lot of bosses that spawn it, but I don't know, Hive just feels kind of super unique. I really like that. The painter boss, I mean, completely different. I mean, it took us like 2-3 episodes to fully understand maybe like a good proper way to fight, the painter boss, and stuff like that. So I've been really enjoying all of the kind of, I don't know, more modern era built pieces of content, because it feels like they're almost more, I feel like it's probably, is it something to do with the fact that like there's already so much content in the game, so when you guys are sitting at the drawing board and you're like, okay, we do know we want and need one more castle boss as an example for variety, what is it, are you guys almost like, what's a unique design space that we could do to make it feel not the same as the other bosses,
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of trying to look at like the whole picture of like, okay, what builds are currently overpowered, and can we use this boss to kind of ease that up or counter that somehow?
Yeah.
What kind of strategies, are underrepresented that this boss might be able to be, a little soft to?
Yeah.
You're kind of looking at those, and then, yeah, I think there's been, recently a little bit of a struggle between maintaining the like level of complexity that we have, because you're right, a lot of our oldest bosses are decently basic, even if they do present interesting encounters.
Yeah, like they could still be fun.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
From being a JRPG trope, and also like it is kind of nice in its simplicity, but on the flip side, you kind of want to be able to do some crazy things. And so we've been trying to kind of walk the line of like, not being too crazy, but still having kind of interesting interactions.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think with the painter boss, we've kind of gone a little bit overboard, because for a really long time we've wanted somebody that gave Peglin some status effects.
Yeah.
So we kind of almost slapped that on here in a little way, just to try and like not have it be about controlling the ads like so many of our other boss fights are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a bit of a tightrope walk for us, because you don't want the new bosses to be so complex that they just like are layers above the old bosses.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have been trying to take our time a bit more with some of the special effects, like you mentioned, the visuals of it.
Yeah, the painter boss here, I mean, the animations here are amazing, honestly. Really, really cool. Oh, fuck me. I guess it didn't matter.
Yeah, so that comes from us having a bit, a slightly bigger team now. So we have somebody, we actually hired him as an intern last summer. And then when he graduated just in January, we hired him on full time to come rejoin the team.
Hell yeah.
And so, it's not just like one systems designer and one like gameplay designer. Because my levels of polish have never been incredible, they've been, serviceable. But now that we've got a bit more time for somebody on the team to just be focusing on a boss fight for a couple of weeks, it's really shown in the quality.
Yeah.
And he's got a bit better of an eye for how to communicate different effects, like things like the pegboard being absorbed here.
Yeah. Yeah, an interaction I'm noticing here is that I haven't noticed before is I guess the pegs that get stolen away from the paintings are not able to get upgraded. Either that or they're not displaying it until they come back. I imagine they're just not getting updated though, or upgraded. Sorry.
Yeah. So if you had an orb that updated them on hit, it would work. This is not the best interaction.
Also, yeah, I don't think this has ever happened to me here.
So it will disappear, but not ideal.
I mean, it's ideal for me, at least. But I know for gameplay, I know. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, if you had something, you know, like a refurbisher, it would be upgrading them on hit.
Okay.
They don't refresh, right, when they're...
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, because I only have it from refresh perspective, yeah. Okay, so we kill them, take all of the poison, which, see, now I've even learned, like, it's probably better overall to hit those paintings, kill them one at a time so you don't have 6 stacks of poison on you. You know, you have 2 and then 2 and then 2 or whatever, you know. But we're a healthy little Peglin boy here, so should be pretty doable.
Really, you know, it depends a lot on your build, which is really what we want the fights to be. We don't want there to just be like one solution to every fight that you kind of have to perform. We really want it to be adaptive.
Yeah,
and so in this case, you know, especially with the way your pegs upgrade, just taking out one painting every couple of turns and then chumping the rest of the damage just so that the same pegs are being refreshed and upgraded might be a valid solution to this one.
True.
Otherwise, yeah, like, you know, if people have upgrading, like they'll leave the paintings up just
forever
to make good use of the dull pegs.
Yeah, because they won't bounce off. They'll kind of neatly slide, and you can kind of very easily confirm that you're gonna get, you know, a general area or something, you know. Also, yeah, you were definitely right. Leave the rest for later has very much been helpful with the upgrading stuff. Not honestly more than I would expect. I don't know why I wouldn't expect that, because I do remember it getting buffed, and I remember being very happy about that, because there were I don't know, I think I probably threw about 3-4 episodes with it, and it's like worst iteration or form or in terms of balance, you know. And so there's very, very satisfying when it gets buffed, and I'm like, yeah, I can finally, you know, get really successful builds. But yeah, going back to like the wall and stuff like that, and having different, you know, there being counters and stuff like that. Oh, round guard, let's go. It is super interesting because there's like general things, you know, where it's like, okay, Castle is known for very much wanting AoE. You know, you'll get super screwed by certain things if you don't really have any AoE. But then beyond that, it's like, yeah, once you kind of know what boss you have, it's like, okay, am I fighting, you know, the wall? If I'm fighting the wall, maybe I do start taking way more elites. I don't know what I expected there. You know, more elites and stuff like that, even way close up to the boss fight, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have health. All that matters is DPS, you know, versus the ballista, where a lot of the times the ballista is the easier fight, unless you don't have, you know, you don't have enough health at the beginning. You're going to just instantly lose. So it is cool to have things that kind of force you to be a bit more dynamic and change. Because I also feel like in something like Slay the Spire, I don't know if this is just the way I play these games, but in Slay the Spire, I feel like I have to commit way harder to a specific type of build. Whereas in Peglin, I feel like it is a little bit easier for me to have like, okay, I'm going to have like, even though I'm not doing this build, a bomb build, I'm going to have a couple bomb things to still help, you know? And I mean, I guess it's in Slay the Spire as well, but for some reason, I just feel like it's easier to be adaptable in this, to throw a couple things in there that will help you, to throw 1 or 2 AoEs in, you know, that will still help you.
Yeah, I really don't like having hard counters.
Yeah.
You know, the Demon Wall and the Ballista are kind of one exception of like one really like prioritizes healing and the other completely is immune to it, or, you know, completely avoids it. And yeah, I think the only reason that has kind of stuck around is because I do like the way that it changes your approach to the end of the castle. Where, you're saying like, yeah, you might sneak an extra elite where normally you wouldn't be able to. that demon wall is a pretty tough boss.
Very
but you kind of
threatening.
managed to snag a few more upgrades and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have very briefly considered, maybe making healing damage it, just so that healing isn't completely shut out. But, you do have the entire castle to figure out some other kind of solution. So.
Exactly. I'm debating right now, what do you think would be better? The upgrading ring or the damage? Because I feel like we probably could handle it with the health that we're building. But also I feel like this might be more consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, that upgrading ring is going to kind of hurt you. It's going to be really good with lightning and with rub orb.
Yeah.
But the other ones are probably going to suffer.
Yeah, I think we should do the wand because I feel like I'm a pretty healthy.
Health.
I'm just scared.
But then do you have any sustain?
That's the thing. Yeah, besides the restorbs,
If you take the wand and get a cookie, that's like GG.
Okay, I think we're gonna go wand here because I think I think you're right. I think the ring is gonna slow me down, which we have the health to be. Okay, I didn't want dragon, but that's okay. So we definitely need to find something here. But
you need to find some kind of persistent sustain.
We're gonna have
corn or cookie are both gonna do it.
Yeah.
If you get the ingot event, you've got more than enough health to just chump that.
Yeah, and we'll probably have about 225, 250 health, I imagine, before we even get to that. Also, okay, these things, watch me just die right here. These mushrooms have ended many a run here. Okay, oh, yeah, there we go.
I'm totally trying to tweak and tune these pegboards, but yeah, they are still a little on the frustrating side for sure.
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. Am I gonna hit a crit? No, but this isn't gonna... Okay, there we go. I'm no longer worried. Man, dude, we've already lost 50 HP. Probably gonna have to just spend a lot of money on health, which I do have a big health pool, so it does, feels a little bit less bad to have to do that, because, 27 HP heal.
Yeah, that is nice with the double whammy on increasing your max health, for sure.
Yeah. Also, what is your opinion on... I've had a lot of people comment that I'd never upgrade my my pebbles, and I know that there's a couple certain interactions, like ones that if you were going an Orbalisk build, there's that really rare one that turns all your stones into pebbles, so then if they had been level 3s, then they would be level 3 Orbalisks, and I really want that super boots.
Yeah, so you'll only ever get the that Orbalisk event if you already have an Orbalisk.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
Kind of.
That's good to know.
Oh, that is a pretty good relic there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of one piece of that. Yeah, I normally never upgrade my stones because it just feels so bad.
Yeah.
But often you will kind of end up with so much money kicking around by the mines that I do start to do it.
Yeah.
Especially, if I take a look at the mines map and there's just not a lot of shops and I don't think I'm going to get to remove them, might as well spend the gold on something.
Yeah.
And then recently, a couple of people in the Discord have been kind of like experimenting with upgrading them early in the higher crucibles instead of, if they're not offered good synergistic orbs. They seem to be having pretty good success with it. So
that's interesting. Which, I mean...
It's like, it's something that I, as a player, wouldn't really explore.
Yeah.
But it is kind of neat.
Okay, let's see here, and I know we're probably running to near the end of the let's see here, maybe a little bit of a time crunch here because we've been such a long episode, but hey, at least we made it to caves here. We're nearing the end. I'll try not to let me see here. Okay, I'll heal. I'm not gonna be stingy on that. Yeah, because a lot of the times I like just, saving the money for the big shopping sprees or whatever. But like you said, if you don't end up finding something good here. Okay, I'll just take some damage. And... Hey, that's actually what I wanted. I don't know, dude. I've started to get absolutely terrified by some of these elites. I'm not even gonna lie. In the caves here.
You have a hard counter for Peg to... the turned knight is always a tough one, but at least you've got the laser orb to kind of blast around.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy the for some reason, I don't know why, when it first came out, I don't know why in my mind I thought it was going to pierce, and I remember being very disappointed that it didn't, and then I like didn't pick it for probably months and months and months, and it's so weird because it's like then I like started to think about it, I was like, why did I think like it would pierce? Probably because maybe that's similar to Poltergeist.
It feels like it should pierce because it pierces all the pegs, but it would just be so
broken,
absurdly overpowered.
Yeah,
so unfortunately we can't have it do that.
Oh yeah, and I've gotten over that because I've learned it's
powerful.
It's,
you know, it's completely a refresh solution on its own, regardless of what map you're on, pretty much. And then the fact that it's also a pretty good damage carrier.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, man, Match Your Orchestra, that's gonna hurt me so bad with the double damage, but I think it's still worth it. You think so, or
level? I'd say probably, yeah.
Because now I am almost like if I had that ring, but
we definitely should have taken the ring.
I think it'll be okay.
I still believe.
I do too. And try to hit up that shop. Let's see here. Because I don't know. I think I have enough upgrading where I hope that I think we should have the damage of killing that dragon. Also, let's go. This will be. See, if we had ring, this would have been garbage here. But instead, I mean, 200 damage, maybe not the most, but oh yeah, one of the things I was gonna mention based off of something. I'm so bad about targeting. What does that look behind the scenes of? Because one of the things I've always wanted, but I know it's probably like. What I'm asking for is one of the most complicated things ever. What does it look like of the code of, because I'm so dumb and I go so fast and I shoot and then I realize I targeted wrong. So is there ever a possibility that it's like you could change targets after you shot? And I know that's I know knowing how coding works, that's probably like the hardest ask. But
yeah, it's a little bit like just being complicated with the sheer number of effects in the game. You know, anything that's like doing chip damage, doing like things that are putting targets or status effects like on targets as you're hitting things now.
Yeah.
And then also just like one of the core design tenets of Peglin was that like nothing in the game would require quick reflexes. It was very much meant to be like a purely turn-based game.
Yeah, very similar to
I didn't want there to be like a reward per se of like having fast reflexes.
Yeah, like APM
my shot's doing exactly 800, so I'm gonna switch my target over to this guy instead of this first enemy. That was kind of the outcome of that.
That makes sense. Also, these mushrooms. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I'm scared. We might die here.
The ring was maybe not a good choice.
I know. I'm doing way more damage to myself than I thought I was going to. Jeez, those bastards. And this would kill me. I don't think I use this.
Yeah, you do have the. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I. Let's see here.
You'll get a little bit.
I thought I was gonna hit that refresh. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Okay, probably a bomb. Oh, this is gonna freaking hurt me too, though.
If only it pierced.
Oh, if only it pierced. Ooh! Oh, I got so lucky on that. I got so lucky, and I have round guard. And I don't. Boldorb would do more than I needed to. Just need 79. Okay, there we go. Oh, well. Okay. Oh, God, I am hurting. And I have. I think I might have forgotten I had super boots earlier. Okay, heal.
Super boots is still pretty good.
Fuck. Okay. Maybe should have hit that bomb, but okay, that was okay because of the bounces. Did it bounce on the? Do I have bounce? I do. I have ambiguous goo. That's very good for dragon. Okay. We might have this. I could have tried for that. I don't want that elite though. Ooh. Okay, so what are you thinking here? I'm thinking there's a couple potentials. Ambidextrary, right, would be very helpful because I haven't removed anything. But also Pocket Sand, because then at a certain point, I will just eventually kill the dragon.
I mean, I think you're going to outdamage the dragon before we get to that point anyway.
Yeah.
It's like fire is a ranged attack, so the melee attack only happens like, what, once every 4 turns?
Yeah.
I think it's a little fast. Oh, but you're not on. Yeah, okay. Crucible 20, I think it speeds up a little bit.
No. So maybe ambidextrous.
I mean, do you have the money to take totem? Get the bonus healing after each level?
True. Or wait, did you say that? Oh, do you just mean because yeah, I would have more max HP and stuff, right?
If you end each battle with 50 gold, right, you don't need that many more upgrades or anything, so you can like increase your max HP
and then
heal. Kind of get the double dose, but you also only have a few battles left. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna go ambidextrary. I think you're right about Pocket Sand. I think this would help me. Yeah,
like avoiding throwing terror balls and horror balls when you don't need them.
Yeah. So okay. I hope we get to fight a forest boss. Oh God. Okay. You know what? That's okay. That's okay. Do I want to ball it? No. Yeah, because this is gonna upgrade. Maybe it doesn't help me a ton. Upgrades the board. Oh, we have Bold Orb. Okay, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd watch that Sculptimate Wand.
Watch the what? Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, because that lightning did a bit more damage to you than you probably needed.
Yeah.
One of the lightning rods.
Bold Orb's gonna hurt me too, but I think I kind of need that to end this fight early.
I think you need it. Yeah. I don't see a way around it.
Okay. Pumpkin. No! I needed popcorn or whatever. Oh no. Okay. I can discard two.
Yeah, these guys have changed. So if you can take down that first one, he's gonna deal, I think, like 50 damage to his buddies.
When I kill him, or if he does the suicide thing.
Either or. Anytime they die.
Oh, so, yeah, I thought it was only if they blew up.
Yeah, they kind of. They're supposed to show themselves blow up when they die, but it doesn't really seem to be like.
Okay, but I still have a turn here. Don't think I want laser.
Okay, make sure you get one of the bombs if you can.
Does he? Oh, because does he blow up before? Let's see.
Well, just it would, let your damage go through to the next.
Oh,
guy.
true. Yeah.
Not a big.
Oh man, because this might go into the okay. Unless I can get a unicorn horn to hit, no. Okay, I'm just really scared. Okay, because if I do,
you don't need a bomb. Yeah. If you just chip away at the guy, like he won't damage you. They only damage the.
Okay, I did see it there. I did see it actually. Okay, Match Orbshka is gonna freaking murder me if I throw this orb. I know that. I will die throwing that orb, but I will probably die to a suicide bomb. I don't know. Let's see. 156. No!
Oh, no!
Oh, dodge.
Oh,
dude,
it.
I have gotten so lucky. I thought this was going to just be like, I probably don't need it because of my health. Holy shit. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, this is a nail biter. Especially just because it's a crucible I've not beaten in freaking ever on this class. I want it to happen here. I think we will actually use Bramball here. Having round guard is so helpful. That's gonna nice.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Okay. Oh, 103. There we go. Cool. Okay. So. Now we're going to heal. Oh god, this is terrifying. Okay, super boots. I have the super boots. Let's
If you want to be cheesy about it, you can just chip into the black holes.
I forgot it gives you the heals, or it gives you the gold. It doesn't give you the heals, I don't think.
Yeah, it gives you the gold. I don't think it gives you the heals. Yeah. Right. Yeah, in a future update, we're going to make it so that, like, if you land in a black hole on the right side of the screen, it just navigates you to the right.
Oh.
And vice versa for the left. Just because, like, I don't want anything in the game. I don't want the optimal strategy to ever be like hit one peg at a time and then chip into something. Which ironically is like how to be good at Peggle. You just like hit a peg into the bucket, hit a peg into the bucket.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's never felt satisfying gameplay-wise to me. So that's an easy change, you know, without punishing the player too much. Generally, if you're aiming on that side of the screen, that's where you want to go anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
so
that makes sense.
A little bit. The only one that'll be kind of crazy is if it's dead center, it'll randomly navigate.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. It's something we're going to experiment with.
Yeah, that's cool. It does make them feel more like, yeah, like really cool portals and stuff, you know. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Pumpkin Pie, I didn't need you then. Oh, no.
Yeah, that skull ring. I love it, but you need something for it. I don't see you getting out of this one.
Yeah. Don't worry. The Terror Ball is gonna be exactly what I needed here. Totally. No. Okay. Wait a minute. That heal. Come on.
Yeah,
just give me just what I probably should have aimed on the right side of the map, not the left. Yes. Oh. Okay. This is ridiculous. Bomb. Oh.
Oh, you gotta grab the bomb.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I need something here. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it kind of needs upgrades to be really good.
Yeah.
But just getting any kind of healing on the board is going to help you so much.
Yeah. I think we just hard look for my Restorbs here. Man, 220 HP and I'm struggling. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
It's a tough board for it too. It's just so dense.
Yeah. Probably should. Oh man. Laser Orb and Rub Orb are gonna hurt me. Well, I do Laser Orb just on the bombs here. Okay, rip. Oh, okay. That was better than I thought it was.
Pretty good,
yeah. Rub Orb's gonna kill me here. I'm having to use all my like bad orbs because I have this one. Oh no. Okay, there we go.
Picture if we'd taken the glorious suffering.
Okay.
So much less suffering would be happening. Right now. All right, Bomb. Here we go.
I really need your help here, Bomb. Okay, and then here's the 2 Restorbs at the very end here. Running away from the bomb.
I did that. I'm tweaking the dials here. I just want a true nail biter run.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Heal. I mean, this is ridiculous. Okay.
Okay, Super Boots plus Bomb is pretty nice for you, though.
Oh, true. The bombs, yeah.
Well, the healing slime, I mean.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, this should be a very good one here. Yes!
Nice.
That was like 10 or 12 or something. Okay. Come on, give me a normal. Okay. Oh, okay. Ooh, okay.
Oh, there we go. Beautiful.
And leveled up bomb. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I still don't know.
I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Peglin's hat's gonna carry.
Oh, I forgot I got that.
Up at the beginning of this video.
Oh. Yeah, true. You were like, I think it's underrated.
80 coins away.
Oh my gosh. I think we might have it here. I forgot I had Haglin's hat. Maybe. Okay, because that's already... I don't know. Okay, and I have... Oh, yeah, and I have the... Oh, I do have Flaunty Gauntlets there, too, helping.
Yeah, so a good chance that he misses the strike on you, which is good.
Okay, I think it is worth... I think I gotta go all out. I can't do my strat of not throwing anything. Ugh. And,
okay. Right, I forgot that those used the dodge chances.
Oh, yeah. The each individual, yeah. Ooh! 5k damage, baby! Oh, wait. No, is that 500? Okay, I misread that. I got really excited there for a second. I misread that. I don't know. I think I've lost.
Yeah, I mean, you still got the bomb. You've still got a rest orb. Haglin's hat did not, in fact, carry.
560.
This might inspire me to make Heglin's hat percentage based. Because I think the only percentage based healing we have is at the end.
Oh yeah. Man, if I also had the stuff where my dodge could go above. Yeah, 100%.
I was just looking at that relic the other day. I might change it to just like uncap it, quote unquote, to go up to 999. I feel like mechanically it won't actually matter that much, but it feels a lot cooler.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the way that it, the way that it halves.
Oh yeah. Like even if you get a lot, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Come on, bombs.
Does this kill me here? No, I think it's over.
The Skulltimate rod. Why?
Oh. Let's see.
It's eaten so much of your health.
Oh man. Oh. There. Oh, is he gonna? Oh, no. I'm just waiting to die here, trying to hit these bombs. There you go, kill me. But you know what? We made it to the end. It wasn't just a video of us in the forest, and
it's such an exciting run too. What a nail biter.
Oh, that was really fun. That was, and it was honestly really fun having you along for the ride. See, getting some insider knowledge. I mean, learning some things. I mean, even with my 350 hours, small things like the slime stuff with the negative slime. Certain interactions and just getting. Let me look through these questions real fast here, just in case I missed any here. Let me see here. Okay, this was an interesting one that I think is perfect at the end here. Is Getter7 said, given how the incidental timing and parallel yet at times overlapping design sensibilities worked out between Peglin and Roundguard, what elements do you suppose the next generation of like a potential Peggle game that you guys aren't going to use for game mechanics, or things that maybe were left on the cutting floor on Peglin that you might not use or whatever? Is there anything, because I know you guys have worked with those devs doing like the bundle things, and I've played Roundguard before. I don't know why that game just didn't speak to me like Peglin does. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a interesting question, but is there anything that you like really wanted to do with Peglin that you really feel like will never happen, that you could see maybe happening in a Peglin 2 or some other dev, Kind of know it's a big question though.
Yeah, nothing super specific other than like trying to build the game to be better for modding. I mean, one thing that I really am remiss about is that I didn't nail the physics earlier, because I always intended to like go back and make the physics feel more satisfying. Yeah. But by the time I kind of scheduled that in to happen, we already had like 100,000 people playing the demo, or that had played the demo at that point. And so like any physics changes would just be so divisive,
because it's gonna mess with their muscle memory.
It's like one of the things that like people rightly complain about, right?
Yeah.
The physics in Peglin are, they're not great. That's one thing that Roundguard does way better than us. But yeah, when it comes to the rest of the game design, I think they just leaned a little too hard into the traditional roguelike versus kind of the newfangled kind of deck builder roguelike. Because like in Peglin, you're kind of snowballing your power, right? And if you get a shot that hits 1,000 pegs, it's almost always positive. Yeah. Unless you've opted into something like the Skulltimate power wand there, the wand Skulltimate power. That's like the only time they really punish you for hitting too many pegs. Yeah. Whereas in Roundguard, I find that like because they do the traditional rogue, like I hit the enemy and we both take damage, an unexpectedly good shot can just like end your run. Yeah. And so I think that's one of the core things that kind of differentiates the games on that level. Yeah. Yeah, they're like their sound design, they're like I prefer our visuals to set of a nostalgic thing, but their sound design and like physics are just so much better than ours.
Yeah, and going back to almost the, like you were saying, it seemed the type of gameplay, right, where they almost were doing more of the traditional, roguelike versus, Peglin kind of. I feel like Peglin has we can already see the influence in Peglin. I mean, obviously in a lot of games, like I don't know if you've seen that dungeon crawler game or whatever. I still haven't played that because I'm waiting for it to not be a demo. But it does seem like a lot of games are I feel like I can see the inspiration of Peglin and a lot of other games where it is this kind of new form of gameplay where there's something else going on, there's some sort of other gameplay, and it translates to like either, something at the top of the screen. I know Brick Odyssey was a very, very indie game that I played a lot that heavily, I think, inspired off of Peglin, where it was, that kind of style of there's this brick breaker game happening and then it correlates to what's happening at the top, though that was more of like a real-time thing, and speaking
I was
of
very flattered when I saw that Steam page go up. It's like screenshots, so similar to Peglin. I thought it was kind of cute.
Yeah, but
I can't remember the is it like Paris by Night or something? It's like the vampire.
Oh,
one where
yeah.
they focused a lot more on it being Peggly as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's been really kind of unbelievable. I don't want to get into it too much, but we kind of discovered that the gameplay of Peggle kind of has some patents wrapped around it.
It has some what? Patents. Okay.
Why it's been like kind of left alone on its own island for so long.
Yeah.
And so we actually at a certain point had to sit down with a patent lawyer after we'd been working on the game for like 6 or 7 months to figure out if we just had to throw all our work in the garbage, essentially.
So was it like certain things that
one of the reasons why like Bejeweled has been kind of copied so much, because it's like this nice succinct gameplay, but then Peggle wasn't, and so we kind of learned that somewhat the hard way.
Was there anything you had to change? Like, did you have to be like, oh, we can't use certain terms, or we can't like?
No, it was mostly like just the fact that our game wasn't a game about like trying to empty the board completely. It's still using physics, it's still using these round pegs, but like fundamentally it's not a puzzle game. It's not the same type of game.
Yeah. That's interesting.
That was a little stressful. So,
oh, I imagine.
And like I said, like Peglin's initial design was just, what if we smush these two games together? Mm-hmm. So that's something that we probably should have been a bit more careful about. It was never intended to be a commercial game from the beginning. So that was kind of an interesting and stressful thing.
Yeah.
But just to kind of jump back to an earlier question of like what else we've been looking at is, I'd love to like take that style of gameplay and just do something else like different with it that hasn't been done.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to play with like, how do you make it like a farming game?
Oh.
And I have seen somebody else try this too, and it's been kind of interesting to see, but how do you make it like interesting without just being like tedious? If this is how you have to water your crops, of like tactfully bouncing these balls around, like
what's motivating you to do that? Yeah.
So it's interesting.
That's
but
interesting.
I think there is a ton there that's still left to be untapped.
Yeah, and I think that's why roguelikes themselves, have been blowing up for a very long time now, because it's so easy to say, hey, what happens if we roguelify, or rogueliteify, this, or what happens if we turn the, blackjack into a roguelike, or poker into a roguelike, or Peggle into a roguelike, or claw machine into a roguelike, or it's so easy in concept, maybe not always translating perfectly for the actual game stuff, but well, this has been awesome. Thank you. I know this probably took a little bit longer than we both were expecting, but I think it was super fun, and I appreciate you, spending the time, with me, and I'm sure my fans and audience will appreciate the crap out of this, and it's super interesting getting to, I always get, spoiled a little bit with some insider knowledge every now and then when I hit you up or whatever, but it's nice to be able to now share that, fully in like an interview kind of form with everybody, It's been a ton of fun, honestly. So thank you so much for spending your time on a random Tuesday, effectively watching me play Peglin.
Yeah, no worries. It's been great. I've actually been tinkering on stuff like while you've been playing.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't think refresh perspective was really pulling its weight, so that might be bumped to 2 in the next update.
Oh, okay.
A couple of other little tweaks and tunes. So no, it's been a really good time.
Yeah.
If there's any questions that we didn't manage to get to, feel free to just send me a list in Discord, and then I can get some answers to you.
Yeah.
You can share those out because we don't have a community manager on the team currently, so our outreach has not been fantastic. We're decently active in our own Discord, but it's we're heavily outnumbered.
Yeah,
we're just a team of 6, and I think the game, especially on mobile, with it being free, has like around 1 million players.
Jeez.
Which is amazing, but also slightly terrible.
A little bit overwhelming when you're,
so having an opportunity to just kind of hang out casually and then still be kind of, quote unquote, doing some of those community manager duties is great. It's a great time for me. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So like like Dylan said, if you guys have any questions that weren't answered here, feel free to leave them in a comment down here, or like he said, if you have any specific things, always welcome to join their Discord and stuff like that. It's an awesome place to be. I share my videos in their Discord every episode, so it's awesome. And let us know if you maybe want to see more of this in the future. Maybe in a little bit we do something else like this if it's something you guys enjoy. But overall, go buy Peglin and Foul Damage. If you haven't, go watch our Foul Damage episode. I think episode 1 should be out by then. A really cool, I know we didn't talk about it too much in this episode, but it's a very fun puzzle game, and we're doing a whole series on it. It'll probably be 3-4 episodes, so stay tuned for those. If you're watching after the fact on YouTube, which I guess is the only way you'd be able to do this because this is not live, but if you're still watching 2 hours and 10 minutes in, thank you so much. It really means a lot. There'll be more episodes when they're out on the screen. If you are going to be grinding out this wonderful game of Peglin and or Foul Damage, then I wish you guys luck, and I'll see you all next time.